So tonight we are going to be demoing a bunch of modules that either came out within the last month or two and modules that will be coming out within the next couple of months. We also have a load of swag kind of hanging out over here on the glass. There's water bottles, screwdrivers, eyeglass cleaners. It's all free. Please help yourself. There's stickers up here. So I think we're going to start the night with Steven doing a little bit of a set, just demoing a broad range of noise engineering modules. So do you have anything to add?
Nope.
Okay. Well, Stephen is ripping all of that out. So I can start showing you some of the modules that we're going to be showing you tonight. A couple of small announcements. So if you like what you are hearing tonight and you would like to subscribe to our newsletter, please go to our website, noiseengineering.us. If you can't remember that, feel free to grab a card. We also, many of you were early enough to grab a t-shirt. We have new t-shirt designs that are somewhat entertaining and somewhat tongue-in-cheek. So if you would like to purchase one of those, there are links to those on our website as well. So please take a look at that. And ladies, please see me. If you are into modular, please see me sort of away from this, outside of this, after the demo, because I'd like to chat with you. Was there something else we wanted to? I think that was everything. Okay. So let's get this demo started. Yeah. Okay, so the first module I'm going to show you is, and you get to learn actual pronunciations too, right? That's why you're all here, isn't it? So this is the Horologic Solum and the Horologic Uter. What are you doing? So this is a module that should be out in the next couple of months. It's really boring, apparently. Before I do that, let me just explain what it is. So clock divider and general master clock has 4 outputs on just the HI. We refer to these as the letters because it's just going to be faster than tripping over the Latin. So the Horologic Solum, the HS, has 4 outputs. You can have your master clock and then divide by 2, 4, 8, so just your general even numbers. You can divide by odd numbers, or you can divide by 4. So it's a pretty powerful way to have a really small, only 4 HP clock divider, master clock. You can also have 2 different tempo or 3 different tempo speeds, and then of course you have a potentiometer to change the tempo as you wish. You can also slave it to another clock, so there's an internal clock, or if you switch it to external, you can just feed it a clock generator, another clock generator, so you can run it off that. On internal, if you switch it to internal, that jack can then be used as CV. You also have a reset, so if you prefer to have a reset to it, you can reset it from an external source as well. The optional expander, the HU, is fixed divider. So no matter whether you have this set to evens, odds, whatever, this will always be dividing at fixed, somewhat numeric or musically useful divisors. So that gives you an extra 7 outputs, another 4 HP. So from that, I'm triggering our sort of flagship module, the Teritas Alter. How many of you have our modules? How many of you own at least something by Noise Engineering? Okay. How many of you know something about the Teritas Alter or Teritas? Okay. Then maybe we should do a BIA demo at some point tonight. Because that's sort of the module that, if you've heard of noise engineering, that's the one that you've heard of. So that is what you're hearing right now, although I'm not really demoing that module. That's the sound that you're hearing. Okay, so this is our clock. I'm going to move that. I'm next going to show you the extra mullet. So the extra mullet is our original mullet, so it's a mult, a buffered mult, but it has an extra 2 HP from our original mullet that combines inputs. So I am running, oops, there we go. So if I set our master clock to our numeric repetitor, which is a rhythmic generator. And if I give the correct outputs. So I'm sending 2 different rhythm patterns to this module right now, the extra mullet. So I could easily just pull that same duplicate of rhythm number 1 out of 1, duplicate of rhythm number 2 out of 2, or I could combine this one is 1 and 2 to trigger. So if I just used 1, I would have that pattern. If I just used 2, or I can combine them. This works for both rhythms, CVs, whatever you want to have in here, it'll combine. So it's a really nifty module. Okay, now Cursus Iteritas, this is an oscillator that came out a couple months ago. Same size as our Bia Teratas Alter. It is, so you can think of this working as a bandpass filter. It's based on 3 different orthogonal ideas of what frequency is. So there's 3 different modes: Dowbickies, Fourier, and Walsh, which are all very, very different ways of thinking about what sound is. So you can switch between the different modes. There's a pitch control. There's the center control, so where the center of the filter is. The edge control, edge of the filter. The width of the filter. Tilt, so if you want to make it sort of an asymmetric filter. Structure, odds or evens, which harmonics you were in. Wave holder, because we put wave holders on pretty much every oscillator that we have, because they're awesome. With this module, everything is fully CVable, so you can CV even which mode you're in. And then we have a switch to go between 2 octaves difference, so bass, alto, and treble, and that's CVable as well. So this is a super fun oscillator that's it's available here today, and it's been out for a couple months. So it's a really fun. It's somewhat similar to the Loquelas Teratas, which many of you have heard of, but slightly more musical, more musical overtones to it. Okay, and with that, I'm going to hand it over to Stephen to demo a few of the other new modules that will be coming out in the next couple of months.
Hello? Okay, we have voice. The first module I will show you is another of our like very simple, very small rhythm generation / sequencer modules. Let me get a clock going here. Okay, so Varic Sequent is a module I'm showing. We're actually giving one away tonight. That's one of the 2 giveaways for tonight. There we go. So this module gives you 16 beats and then 5 beats to put onto the 16 beats. So the knobs control when and time beats happen. So hopefully you can kind of see as I turn this knob, you can see me move the beat around. Then there's also a cursor for where the current beat is. But so I can dial in rhythms, really simple rhythms, without a lot of size or fuss, I guess. There's also a switch that gives you, it just turns the first beat on, since that's, usually you have a first beat in something where there's a drum sound. So there's a sort of hard-coded first beat. It comes with an expander called Varic Multium, which gives you CV control of the beat positions and time, so if you want to do CV-controlled rhythm generation. And then it also gives you these separate beat outs, so you can use these to trigger 4 separate things through a single measure. It's pretty simple, and it will be out quite soon. Yeah, 6 HP for the bass, 4 HP for the expander. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to need one of you. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you is the Mimetic Sequent. It came out earlier this year. One trigger. Patchway, okay. This one takes a second to patch. Okay, so the Mimetic Sequent is it's 6 HP. It sort of started as a complicated development, to say the least, but it's a CV recorder / randomizer. So it's sort of the kind of easiest way, if you're familiar with the Turing machine, it's sort of like a way more musical version of a Turing machine. Okay. Can you turn up the volume of the kit a little? Hey guys. There we go. Oh, too much. Oh, can you turn me down a little? Delicate balance. Okay. Okay, so right now I have the Mimetic Sequent generating a pitch sequence, and it's a sequence of 4 pitches. Let me speed the tempo up to make that a little more interesting. Let me just okay. So the knob controls the randomization. As you turn it up, the position controls both what the percentage chance of randomization is, also the what it does to randomize. In the pitch mode, it's actually pitch cognizant, and so like a lower value, when it will randomize, will do things like offset an octave or a fifth, or like sort of more constant things. But then if you turn it all the way up, it will just be straight up random. When you turn it all the way back down, it will stop randomizing. So there's 3 patterns. You can copy the current pattern to the other 2, and then and make little variations. You can also record CV ins, or CVs into it. The CVs are also stored in Flash. You can turn it off and come to a gig, like say I did tonight, with CVs that were pre-selected. There's a built-in semitone 12-tet quantizer, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You can also turn it into a CV randomized mode where it doesn't pay attention to pitches and gives you a higher range. The pitch randomized mode only gives you 2 octaves of range because you don't usually want a 5-octave melody. Mimetic Multium is its expander, which gives you the 3 pattern CV outs all the time, and then also 4 just randomly generated gates. So anytime you randomize, it might change the gates, and so it's definitely a little like chaos machine, but it allows you to control it in sort of a musical way. Yeah, so that is the MS. Oh yeah, BIA. Okay, this will actually work great for this. Okay, so the Teritas Alter. So this module, it's 10 HP. It's meant to make, the goal is essentially to make all possible drum sounds. I'm going to go through the controls a little, and then I'm just going to turn it at random, and you'll get to hear a variety of things it can produce. So the attack knob, left to center, adds noise for snare-like things. Decay knob can go from pop to something a lot longer than a pop. Spread and harmonic control the harmonic structure of the sound. So harmonic actually adds more harmonics as you turn it up. It actually increases the amplitude and the decay length of the harmonics in the drum. And then spread controls the frequency relationship between the knobs. So all the way to the left is a purely harmonic series. As you turn it up, it gets wacky. But with the harmonic knob, you can actually roll like those more complicated harmonics just into the attack and get a more sonically interesting attack, or just something very pure. Then the other two knobs, morph and fold. So morph actually changes the waveforms, so you can blend between sine, square, saw, triangle, and then back around again. And then fold is the wave folder. So you can just turn these a little bit at random. A lot of different sounds. So there are actually 3 modes. This is liquid mode. There's also skin mode, which is like liquid mode but without a pitch envelope. It's a little more pure. But if you want to do melodies, the other thing I haven't mentioned yet is actually 1 volt per octave tunable. So a lot of people buy it to be a drum, but then they use it as a really small voice. So. The third mode is liquid mode, which is turns it into an FM synth, essentially, a 6-operator FM synth. You can get some really gnarly stuff. And then, not surprising from the name, you can do a lot of cymbals and other metallic sort of things. But yeah, that's the Teritas Alter. It does a lot of different sounds. And last, I guess, in our demo spread here, but definitely not least, is the Loquelas Teratas Persido. So our second most popular module actually is the Loquelas Teratas. One of the things that we saw a lot of people using this for was as a sound source for drums. And so we decided to make essentially a standalone voice out of it, focusing on drums. So that's cool. Not quite long enough. Oh, modular. Okay. And you are on 2. Good. Okay, so this is the core synthesis of the Loquelas Teratas, but with an envelope added and a way to route that envelope to all of the tone parameters of the Loquelas Teratas, as well as the pitches. So let's tame it down. So the top 3 controls here are envelope controls. The biggest knob is time, which is just how long the envelope's going to be. Let me turn that down. Okay. Then curve is logarithmic to exponential. And then shape is actually, instead of having separate attack decay, it basically specifies where the attack decay breakpoint is. So all the way to the left is decay only, and then let me get the pitches up a little bit. And then all the way to the right is only attack. So let's make it a little drummer. So the same 4 tone parameters that are on the original are all the 4 knobs on the right. And then we added these 4 new knobs, which send the amplitude envelope to those 4 parameters. Let me slow it down a little. So it's pretty gnarly. If you hadn't figured that out yet. So then you can also send the envelope to the 2 pitches. So just like the original Loquelas had 3 modes, there's 3 modes as well that are just all sort of different tone sets. There's a lot of parts and a lot of lasers in here. Space lasers, space parts, of course. So that's kind of just a tiny glimpse at the nonsense this thing can produce. But I think that's the end of our structured demo. Thank you for coming.